Hello, sports.
No.
See, that was
That
funny.
was good, wasn't it?
That was... What's up, YouTube? Welcome to the inaugural episode, probably the last episode of Sports Card Aesthetic, where we are going to be talking about sports cards and looking at them and seeing how pretty
Or not pretty.
they are. I'm your host, Tyson, with my co-host,
Emma.
Woo! Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is get Emma's first impression. I believe you've seen this card. Well, I know you've seen this card one time, but you have not studied it closely. Let's bring it up on the screen here. There it is. The 1952 Topps Mickey Mantle. And Emma, take it in. Breathe it in.
So like,
Just let it meld in your mind. Okay, go ahead.
So I have seen this card before.
You've seen it before.
I have not.
I showed it to you a few days ago.
I have not seen many cards before. This is the one I've already had a chance to get a first impression. So my first impression of this is I don't like it.
Ooh. Ow. Okay. She doesn't like it. Okay. Ouch.
I just mean his. I don't like the picture. It's
Okay,
It's a weird low angle, like double chin, which he actually doesn't have a double chin, I guess. But
I do want to talk about that.
The expression is kind of. My first impression is I didn't like it, but now this has grown on me the more I look at it.
Mm-hmm. What's grown on you?
So it's a very heroic pose. I think the bat is kind of slung over the shoulder in a way that I don't know. I like how it's framed kind of close to his face. I like how he's sort of like looking off in the distance, sort of wistfully. Mm-hmm. The shadow is good now that I look at it. Like, so the sun is kind of high up, and there's casting a shadow
going across his face.
On his cheek. So yeah, it looks like he's on the field, but yet we don't see the field.
It looks like he's looking at a battlefield. It looks like he's ready to go to war or something, kind of.
Well, and we only see sky, so it almost implies like what he's going to do with the bat is just going to go up.
Mm-hmm. Wait, what does that mean?
Like he's like.
Oh, he's gonna hit the ball up into the air.
He's swinging for the stars.
Like he's looking where he's gonna hit it, kind of.
Kind of.
Okay.
But he's facing the other direction. I don't know. I guess he's just posed kind of like.
I see.
It's almost like Greek statue kind of
I would agree with
the
that,
twist in his body.
Yeah. So it's the first year of Topps, which kind of increases its significance. And Mickey Mantle was you know Mickey Mantle?
Yes.
Who's Mickey Mantle?
He's a baseball player.
Good. Got it. So, Mickey Mantle was not necessarily the greatest player of his generation. He was up there, Willie Mays, Hank Aaron, but people love collecting Mickey Mantle. There are a lot of, men, boomer age, my dad's age, who grew up with Mickey Mantle in the 50s, and it's just this iconic...
He's my dad's favorite player.
He's your dad's favorite player, and your dad is from New York, correct?
Yes.
Okay, there you go. So this is actually not his rookie card. This is his second-year card. We'll talk about his rookie card sometime down the line, but one thing I wanted to show you. So in 1952 Topps, this is not a photograph, obviously.
Oh, it's not?
Well, it's a photograph that's basically been colored in. I did some cursory Google research.
Yeah, is it just a colorized photo?
It's basically someone took a black and white photo and did a coloring book job to it.
Because it does look very like Technicolor, so it gives it that kind of 50s.
It gives it a look that it's not quite real. It's almost like yeah. So I wanted to show you the original photo that this was based on, which is this photo right here.
Oh yeah, same shadow.
What do you think of that when you look at the picture compared to the card? Does that make you change your mind about anything?
I mean, they're very similar.
You can tell that someone has colored in, And one thing that is interesting to me about this is that when I look at this
he's
card...
more handsome in this one.
You think so?
The angle's a little bit different.
You think he's more handsome in the card than in the photo?
The angle seems a little different to me for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
He almost looks like he's in the card. He looks like he's looking up more.
You think he's more handsome in which one?
The card.
In the card?
Like, look how he's looking up more, and there he looks like he's just
off
I
think that they've sort of rotated it just a little bit.
Yeah, it looks like the angle is slightly different.
But one thing I wanted to comment on was when I look at the card, that doesn't look like... I've always thought this since I was a kid, is that doesn't really look like Mickey Mantle to me compared to a lot of his other cards.
Yeah, he's better looking.
And I think part of it is that you mentioned didn't you mention his double chin or lack of a double chin?
Well, just that angle is the angle you get when you put a camera down there and you're like looking down the barrel of it.
Right. So I wanted to show you this photograph
because
angle. When I think of
photo,
Mickey Mantle, I think of so he's this hometown rural Oklahoma kid who went to New York and became the biggest baseball player in the world, and he always had this very just chiseled jawline, kind of good look to him. So this is a picture of him from Sports Illustrated that's straight on.
From when? Later?
From, I think, around the same time.
No.
Yes. So that's the thing.
Those are two different people.
I know. That the photo doesn't actually convey very well what Mickey Mantle looks like, which I think is interesting because here he's got, would you agree, he just looks chiseled.
Yeah, he got a different shape.
He's just got a much more, it looks like he doesn't have any, baby fat on him.
Well, here, the photo
that.
looks like he's got a square and smaller face, and then the card, it looks longer and he looks like a bigger guy.
You're right. In the card, he's got this much more elongated face. I would agree. He almost looks like he's got a little baby fat on him, which is kind of why I like this card even more, because one thing I like about vintage and especially younger year cards, I like when my rookie cards or my first or second year cards, the players look younger. They look pre-superstar. Does that make sense?
I don't know if he looks pre-superstar here. I mean, I think he looks like...
Just his face. So let's go back to what you were talking about. One of the things that I think makes this card so perfect and iconic is the angle up. You are looking up at him like he is this mythologized Greek god. Exactly what you said. And in fact, the way he's got the bat on the shoulder reminds me that every time I look at it, I just think of Thor with a hammer on his shoulder.
Well,
this is a weapon that he's going to use to inflict major damage on somebody.
Well, but that's contrasted with what's exactly in the middle of the picture.
What?
His teeth. He's got these two
buck teeth.
His bunny teeth.
So you're...
No, but that makes him look very youthful. It makes him look like he...
Yeah, so
that's
it's
more
to me it's like
kind of
it's
boyish,
this is this. You're right.
Open mouth, huh?
I would agree that the buck teeth do make him a little bit. Man, we're talking a lot about this guy. R.I.P. Mickey Mantle. But you're right. It gives him sort of. It does kind of give him both an innocence and a projection of what he's going to be. He is going to. He's young. He's being birthed into baseball. He's going to become a Greek god of.
Yeah, it does. It does. You're right. It does sort of position him right at this cusp of he looks very youthful, but but just the grandeur of it is.
And that's what I love
striking.
about earlier, and I think that's why it's fun to. There's a lot of reasons why people collect rookie cards or earlier cards, but I think part of it is the idea of I'm catching this guy, I'm appreciating this before. It's easy to appreciate someone when he's, winning Triple Crown and MVP and whatever. It's harder.
Isn't the Triple Crown a racehorse? Oh.
That's a horse.
Race?
Yeah, but it's also if you get. Anyway, it's a baseball thing. Batting average, home run, RBIs. If you lead the league in that, you get Triple Crown, which he did in 1956.
I have a question.
Yes.
Are we saying this about this card because we know who Mickey Mantle is? Because this is one of the few people that I would actually already think that about, and then looking back on this retro-looking card, thinking oh, this is this perfect image of his precursor to greatness.
This is all biased critique.
But we're talking about specific things in the way that he's positioned and the image of it that I think does seem to capture that. But I guess I wonder, it'd be interesting to see whether this happens in cards where we don't have that context yet. If the image still projects that.
So that's a great. So let's transition. That's a good transition. Let's just talk about, forget Mickey Mantle himself. Let's just talk about the layout and the coloring of the card. So what would you say about just kind of how this card is arranged? So you've got the thick white border, the thinner black border, and then you've got the Yankee symbol kind of overlaying this sort of what would you call that? It's almost like a Broadway style, marquee style, kind of framing up both his name and then the faux signature below that. So what do you think about that layout?
I think the whole marquee Yankees logo thing is cute. His name is Mickey, so that's also cute. I don't understand the Yankees logo. Is that like a circus hat?
It's like a baseball
What
bat
is that?
with like a, I don't know what you would call that.
What is it?
That's like a
Something on the bat?
Yeah, it is a hat. It's like an American style. It's like kind of, I don't know what you would call it.
It's like one of those like Uncle Sam.
It's like what Uncle Sam would wear.
So it is a hat and a bat.
Right, it's a hat on top of a bat with a baseball.
Okay, that's bizarre. That's strange to me.
Okay.
But I like the general. I like his name. I like how it's printed. I like the signature below it. I like the little like marquee, kind of kitschy. It's simple, but
so
all
the 52 tops.
I like the border.
All the 52 tops had that sort of marquee, but I think it's especially appropriate for a New York baseball player.
And then we get his yellow bat, and there's some yellow in the background.
Color matching between the bat and
the color contrast of the yellow and the blue is kind of nice in this card.
One thing that I love is you get the Mickey Mantle in just regular font, and then I love the faux signature, number one, because Mickey Mantle famously has one of the more beautiful signatures in the sports card hobby. Like, it's nicely written, and you can tell what it says. A lot of people, when they write cursive, it's just kind of like, well, just smudges or bumps and whatever. But I love Mickey Mantle's signature in this. I like just the idea of a card with the name, and then even though it's obviously not a real signature, just having the copy of it.
Well, everybody of that generation could write cursive.
That's probably true too. I haven't looked at a lot of 52 tops other than this one, but my guess is you're right. There's a lot of better cursive than there is nowadays. I like the square with the Yankee hat, just slightly overlying it. It's just to me it's just a very nice looking layout that's not too busy, but it's busy enough. There's just a little bit enough of pop here and there. And that it matches the bat on the shoulder, that I think it's very visually pleasing.
But I think what I like about it is the space where his face is extremely simple.
Mm-hmm. And then it gets a little bit busier down in the lower half.
Yeah.
One thing I absolutely love about this card is you just get a big patch of blue sky right behind him. I think that's one of the things that makes this one of the most beautiful cards in the history of the hobby. And I think when you're I've seen this probably at a convention once or twice, this actual card. I've obviously never held it, but it just looks like a painting. Mm-hmm. A lot of people talk about cards as being like sort of the new art of our generation, people who love sports, and this legitimately.
Who says that?
Some people say that.
Some people.
And this just looks like it kind of looks like a piece of art. And I like that I think it's called Flexichrome, which is the coloring in of the black and white photo, makes it look like a painting, like someone painted Mickey Mantle.
Well, it probably was painted
onto this. I don't know if it was painted or if it was literally like color in the lines. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But
that's what I mean, like hand painted color.
But I think the sky blue, and then I really like the Yankee hat that he has on. To me, that just like makes me think it looks like a painting, which my guess is if you were to look at the other photo, my guess is that would look very different if that was in color.
So another thing I'm noticing about the difference between the photo and the card is that how zoomed in the card is, to the point where the only thing on his body that we're seeing that's team specific is his hat. So we don't see anything of the jersey. We don't see anything of the style.
You see a little
of
bit of the
clothes
New
at the
York
time.
down here.
Well, we can't tell what it is.
But you're
really.
right, not much.
It's very.
It does put the focus more squarely on that timeless Yankee symbol.
It's the logo and Mantle's face.
Mm-hmm. And also, I like the contrast between the dark blue of the hat and the light blue of the sky. I can't get over that. To me, that's just the thing I always look at with this card, is just how painterly it looks, especially in the top half, and then the bottom half looks a little bit more like a sports card.
Yeah, that's worth $8 million.
That's worth $8 million, $10 million, 20. Who knows? Sky's the limit.
Sky's the limit.
Do you have anything else to say about this card?
Well, I think it's funny that we started by saying that I don't like it, and now we've only said good things about it.
Yeah, I mean, where do you land with it? So, I wanted to call this video Sports Card Aesthetic. You wanted to call it
Pretty Sports Cards,
which is probably a better YouTube title. I understand that. We went with Sports Card Aesthetic to.
You're not the judge of that.
Are we saying this is still up for debate? So, in honor of your title, Pretty Sports Cards, we have developed a rating system of 1 to 100 pretties.
It's been very extensively researched and
calibrated. Yeah.
Well, my point is that it has not been calibrated because this is the first card I've seen.
Okay, so this is the beginning of the calibration.
This is the calibration.
We're gonna go 1 to 100 pretties. 100 being you would lay in bed with this card and you would just stare at it.
I don't think that's the top. I think the ceiling.
What does 100 mean?
The ceiling needs to be like for a sports card. Because if you're giving me some ultimate framework here, no sports card's gonna get above like 8.
Okay.
So we need to set the 100 at like something that's actually attainable for the best sports card.
Okay.
The best of the best.
Like you're saying, if I said 100 is it goes straight to the Louvre Museum, like that's just not feasible for you.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Right.
Okay. Well, I'll let you be the determinator.
Keeping in mind that this is still just a piece of paper that's been
a piece of cardboard,
a million times and mass produced.
That's right.
Yeah.
So okay.
and it's only about baseball and baseball players.
That's right. Yeah. Well, other sports too, but which we'll get to. So
I forgot.
Yeah, there's not just baseball cards. So 1 to 100, how many pretties does the 1952 Topps Mickey Mantle card get? What?
Well, I feel like
50 being squarely
in the
mediocre.
middle. Well, so if we're calibrating, then I feel like this would have to be a 50. But
Oof.
I'm thinking, given that my first take was that I don't like it, but as I look at it, I think that it has overall more positive features than negative, and I think that that's probably, I'm guessing, is going to be on the unique end for a sports card for me.
Okay.
So I think it's got to be in the upper quadrant.
Mm-hmm. Higher category.
I'm gonna give this a 90.
Woo! 90 pretties for 1952 Mickey Mantle. Awesome. All right, guys, that is our first episode. We did it. Did we do it?
I don't know.
Okay, I don't know either. But if you have any thoughts, we started this because we want to talk about cards. If you like this card, if you don't like it, if you don't care, we'd love to hear about it. We just want to hear, yes.
The aesthetic of it.
The aesthetic of it.
We're not discussing its merits on the market for other reasons.
That's right. We are discussing we are interested in the aesthetic.
We're talking about how good it looks.
So please like, subscribe, all those stupid things, but we would love to just hear your comments. We've got a whole line of cards we've talked about that we want to do. If you have ideas for other cards, please put them in the comments and we'll think about it if it's something that interests us. But that's it. Sports card aesthetic.
Pretty sports card.
Catch you on the flip side. I thought about saying catch you on the bat flip side.
Oh my god.
Okay, it's recording.
What?